Bum ba da bum ba bum ba bum bum ba da bum bum ba bum. There we go. My phone is locked and loaded. Let's see. There we go. How are you? Hello and welcome to Monday mini medicine card readings. There we go. Just trying to get my phone right. Okay. Welcome. Come on in. I'm just getting set up, letting other people realize that we are live. I get my phone plugged in. You'd think I'd have, after a couple of years, you'd think I'd have my act together a little bit more. But no. All right. My phone holder thingy-mabobber is a little wonky. I guess I could have brushed my hair. Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Patrick, your friendly neighborhood shaman, and we are going to do some medicine card readings. So, I probably need my cards. There we go. Bum 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 ba da bum bum ba bum ba bum 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 ba dum bum 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 ba da bum bum bum. Come on in. Welcome to another Monday mini medicine card reading. I will explain in a minute what we do here. Just want to light my candle. Light a little bit of sage and maybe some, I love that sweetgrass. I'm going to smudge my cards. I'm just going to kind of babble for a little bit. Give people a chance to realize that we're live and to catch up with us. So, if you are, I had my alarm set to remind me, and apparently I hit snooze rather than turning off the alarm. Bum 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 ba da bum 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 bum. Get some sage going so I can smudge my cards. And these are the cards I use. These are the medicine cards. Each card has a different animal totem on it. And then what we do here is I pull 3 cards. And your job is to choose a number between 1 and 3. And whichever card corresponds to the number you chose, that is your reading for the week. That is the animal spirit guide who has volunteered to walk with you through this week to help you with whatever its unique qualities, strengths, all of that. I should have taken a nap today. I guess I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of stumbling over my own words. Oh well. Anyway, welcome, welcome. So again, I'm going to shuffle my cards. I just smudged them. I'm going to shuffle the cards and I'm going to choose 3 of them. And all you have to do is choose a number between 1 and 3. Or you can choose 2 numbers or all 3 numbers. And whatever, then I will read them one at a time, and whichever one corresponds to your number is your guidance. So, if you're new here, welcome. If you've been watching me for the last couple of years, thank you. I always look forward to this. This is one of my highlights of my week. Bum, 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 ba, da, bum, bum, ba, bum, 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 ba, da, ba, bum. We'll just see which animals want to come out to play. And if I am not too talkative tonight, if I manage to do the readings in a timely fashion, I've got my handy dandy drum. Actually, I've got like 3 of them within arm's reach. And we'll do a guided meditation, guided shamanic journey, so that you can meet the animal, whichever one chose you, and which so that you can hear from their own mouths what they have come to help you with. But only if we got time. Sometimes I get a little verbose, because this is one of my passions. I could talk about this stuff. I mean, I could probably pull a single card and talk about it for like at least a couple of hours on its own. So, plus, even though I've been reading these cards for years and years and years, I'm always learning new things. The animals talk to me, and they give me little nuances and little aspects that I had never thought of before, you know, and things that aren't in the book that comes along with the deck. So we'll just see who comes out to play. Okay. Do you have your numbers yet? Choose your numbers. Okay, one more. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right. 3 cards have been drawn. And so let's see what we have. So, number 1, if 1 was your card, you got the friendly neighborhood possum. Possum, of course, is the actor of the animal kingdom. And so, if this is your card, the message usually is about recognizing the illusion of the world. It's about remembering that, just like Shakespeare said, the world's a stage and each of us must play a part. A possum comes along to remind us that we are not the characters we play, but we are the actors playing these characters. We are not the ego. We are not the personality, the identity of these physical bodies. We are life itself. We are creator acting in these bodies, playing a part to learn. And, you know, the thing is, what they just prompted me to talk about too is that there's only one of us here, right? So no matter who is in your life, who is in your personal dramas or your sitcom of life, whatever it is, are all a part of you, because we're all part of the same being. And so, knowing that frees you up to play the part to your greatest, to, the most dramatic or the most whatever you want to do. It can be Emmy Award winning, Oscar nomination. But you are the writer of your story. You are the director of your story. You are the creator and you are the actor in your story. This comes under the subject of taking everyone else out of the equation. You are the hero of your story. Everyone else is the hero of their own story, but their stories interact with yours. They all kind of weave together. But you are the star of your own story. You are the writer, director, creator, everything. You're the executive producer of your own life. And you get to play that part in whatever way you choose to play it, whatever calls to you, whatever is the most authentic, true part to you, what best reflects who you are as your individual facet of creator, of creative source energy, right? And so it doesn't matter what anyone else says or does, how they play their parts. The only part you are in charge of is your own. And there is no script. Just remember, there's a song I love. What's the name of the woman? Bedingfield. What's her first name? Natasha? I think it's Natasha Bedingfield. It's a song called Unwritten. It's about, the future is blank. It's unwritten. I'm writing my story as I go. That is so true. It's one of my favorite songs. Because the future is unwritten. It's kind of a paradox in a way if you bring in the quantum physics of it, because every possible future exists. Like from this point right now, you have an infinite number of futures in front of you. They all exist. And at the same time, none of them exist because you haven't chosen yet which direction you're going to go in. Whichever way you put your step down, your next footstep, that is what creates the world around you. It's like a Rubik's Cube. You've got your story, and then there's stories stacked on top of your stories, lined up next to yours, some lined up under yours. And every time your story changes, it automatically changes the story of everyone around you. So if you go off script and start improvising and speaking from your heart rather than from preordained words, and making it up as you go along and seeing the adventure and the creativity available to you to do whatever you want, everyone around you has to adjust to accommodate that. In other words, by going off script, letting the words, letting the actions come from spirit as to how you're going to live your life, no one else is going to be able to predict what you're going to do. So they're going to have to go off script to respond to whatever you're doing. And believe me, some people will hate that. Other people will love you for that. But you are not beholden to anyone, any expectations, any traditions, any obligations. It is between you and Creator what you do with your life. No one else has a say. And so when we come in and we realize that power, that we are the storytellers, we are the myth makers, we are telling the story of ourselves as we go along. Then no one else has any power over you, because they're all reading off their own individual scripts. They're all trying to, sweep, trying to make everyone pay attention to them. Meanwhile, you're here actually living your life rather than reading it off of the page. So it's also about being present, being, aligning all the role, aligning physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all in one, being the avatar of your own spirit in the play, get rid of the fourth wall. Realize that this is an act, that this is a story, that this is a TV production, and speak right to Creator. Okay, what do we do next? And I've talked about this before, where I've even, there's been a number of times where I've had a choice to make. And rather than trying to figure it out logically, I would go inside and in myself, and I'd be like, okay, when they make a movie of my life, what is the coolest thing I could do right now? Rather than figuring out what you should do, what's expected of you, right or wrong, what would be when people talk about this years from now, what would be the coolest possible thing I can do? What's the most unpredictable, take it on unpredictable plot twists. It's your creation. You are here to live your life. You are here to experience three-dimensional reality as a spiritual being having a human experience. There are no rules, only guidelines. And when you do that, when you realize that it's all an illusion, it's all a dream, we are all basically God dreaming a dream. Like when you have a dream at night, no matter how many different characters are in there, it's all you, right? Every single character is a reflection of you. It's meaningful to you. It's symbolic of something within you. Likewise, this is all a dream that Goddess is having. We're all part of that dream. So we are all reflections, symbolic aspects of Creator. And so realize that there is no separation. Everyone in your drama, and that's the other thing, is that when you go by the book, you're reading, you're like, okay, this happened. Okay, read the script. Okay, this is how I'm supposed to respond. Okay, and then this is how they're supposed to respond to that response, blah, 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 blah. There's no life in that, number one. Number two, like I said, everything you do, it's a Rubik's Cube. When you change, everything around you changes. It automatically changes the world around you. And when we think, we get that tunnel vision of there's only one or two choices, right? Do something totally out of the box. Take a right turn, and you will be amazed at how everything shifts to accommodate that choice. And it may scare people away from your life. It may draw other people into your life. It may make you closer to other people because they can see the authentic, true self that is shining through the facade of personality and ego and all of that. And when you do this, just like a possum, when you know your true self inside the illusion, so this is always a tricky thing to say, because yes, you can be hurt physically. You can be hurt, you can be harmed, you can be killed, whatever, physically. But when you realize that you are in the world, not of the world, then there's nothing that can take you out. I'm still looking for a word for that. Take you out. You can never truly die. Physically you die. Spiritually you will be here forever. You have always been here. You will always be here. So when you realize that nothing that happens in the drama can destroy you. Feel the freedom that comes from that. To realize you're immortal. I mean, you still don't want to go jumping off a cliff or trying to fly or anything like that, because, well, at least until, sorry, people are texting me right now. I got distracted. When you think about Buddha and Jesus and some of the more enlightened beings who have lived here, who have performed miracles, then yes, go ahead and try to fly, try to jump off a building, try to breathe underwater, whatever it is. But until you can walk on water, there's a certain framework we live according to. You know, in our physical bodies, there are physical laws to a certain extent. There's a bigger picture that contains that context, but until you are so sure of yourself that you can walk on water, I wouldn't go jumping off any cliffs or trying to fly. Okay, totally off, total tangent. But anyway, what I was getting to is, when you know your true identity as the activator of the body, etc., there's nothing in the drama that can hurt you. Just like a possum is immune to most venom and poison. I think I read it takes 80-some bites from a rattlesnake before an opossum will start to feel the effects from it. So when you realize you are the creator, when you realize that you are not of the drama, it makes you immune from many of the poisons, all the slings and arrows that normally, if you believe you're the ego, when you believe you are the physical body, then anything anyone says to you can either lift you up or take you down. You can be hurt by words. You can be hurt by what people think of you, because this is who you are. But when you realize that there's so much more to you beyond, then what does it matter what people think, right? So that is Possum. Everything is possumable. All right. Okay, I'm in a weird mood tonight. Either apologize or you're welcome. All right, number 2. If 2 is your card, you got the Hummingbird. Hummingbird, in a word, is joy. Number 1, who doesn't feel joyful when they see a hummingbird, right? There's just something so magical about them. Like they're like right on the edge of the fairy realm. In fact, they can kind of they're fairy birds, really. Who doesn't think that? The glistening, the sparkling throats and wings, and how they can disappear and hover and zip in any direction. They're magic, pure magic, and they're pure joy. They don't have anything weighing them down. And they feed on the nectar of flowers. It's about following the sweet spots, looking for those things that make you buzz, that give you joy. It's the same thing. My ear just started to ring. like Joseph Campbell always talked about, following your bliss. Rather than running away from the heaviness, running away from the darkness, running away from what holds you down, run toward what brings you joy. Run toward the sweet spots, because it's those sweet spots that are going to give you the energy to be able to move in any direction. Up, down, backwards, forwards, stopped, whatever. You can't do that with baggage. It's almost like, that's a new one. Hummingbird, like, that's interesting. I'm going to have to Google this or look it up. What my guides are telling me is that Hummingbird basically has no inertia to deal with. They don't have to get up to speed. They don't have to draw, they just zoom. They're like a thought, just zip, and they're there. They almost have no inertia. And so kind of connecting it to Possum, card number 1, when you're your true beautiful self, when you're centered in your life, like I said earlier, your future, every possible future exists. From this point in time, every possible future lies ahead of you. At the same time, you could say that there are no futures in front of you because you haven't walked them yet. And a lot of times our futures, we're quantum beings living in a Newtonian universe. Or so we believe, that the universe is Newtonian. And so, like, all the Newtonian laws, about, God, now I can't even think of any, but basically, every reaction has an equal and opposite, every action has an opposite and equal reaction. That's basically inertia. If you're going from a sitting position to, like a car, you get on a plane, when a plane takes off, you feel that pushback against the seat. That's inertia. All of a sudden, that's what they talk about in planes and spaceships and stuff, about the G-force. We're pulling 20 G's. It's like that would be 20 times the gravity of Earth. And when you're taking off, you feel heavier. You're being pushed against the seat. Because of inertia, you have to build up to the point where that is no longer there. Hummingbird goes from 0 to 100 in the blink of an eye. There's no inertia to overcome. There's no mass to overcome. This goes into Einstein's theory of relativity, E equals mc squared. In order to become energy, there has to be a certain mass, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not a scientist. I love reading about quantum physics and science and stuff, but I get the gist of what things mean. I'm not always able to, just like with quotes. I never quite get quotes right, but I can get the gist of them. And the same with the science. I can't tell you exactly what the mechanics of it is, but I hope you get the gist of it, that Hummingbird has no extra mass to convert to energy. There's no inertia. So when you have Hummingbird as your companion, you can go and you can move. That's why Hummingbird can move in any direction, 360 degrees, more like up, down, sideways, kitty corner, backwards. If this is your card, you are unlimited. Let go of the baggage. Let go of anything that is not essentially you. And the ironic thing there is God, slow down, guys. I'm getting so much stuff at the same time. when you let go of all of the distractions, when you let go of all the baggage, you're free to move in any direction. And then, because you have that freedom to move in any direction, you can have anything you want or need. There is nothing that can be denied you, right? But if you're trying to carry it, you're holding it close, you don't want to lose it, it's going to weigh you down, right? And this brings in also that image of the hot air balloon, right? You're meant to be floating, but you've got those sandbags, the ballast holding you down. You need to drop all that weight in order to naturally float to the high frequency being that you already are. Or another analogy is the whole idea of, it's like pushing a beach ball underwater. It gets harder and harder as you hold it there, because the air in the beach ball wants to rise to the surface, wants to rise to the air that it is made out of, right? So you can hold it down for as long as you can, but eventually it's going to rise, because its natural state is to be at the surface of the water. Your natural state as a spiritual being is to be high frequency, to rise to spirit. And so you have to drop everything that's holding you below the surface. You have to let go of all the ballast, all the baggage, and just become your true, pure, innocent, divine self. Does that make sense? It's kind of the other thing my guides were, I don't know why Jesus keeps coming up in tonight's talk, but even like Jesus talked about, how a man can gain the world and lose their soul. It's the opposite, right? If you lose the world and gain your soul, then you have access to the entire world. Yeah. And I am talking a lot tonight, so I don't know if we're going to get to our meditation, but anything else, little hummingbird? I guess that's it for now. Okay, number 3. If 3 was your card, you got Dolphin. Dolphin fits in so perfectly with the other cards tonight. Dolphin is basically a living beach ball, right? Dolphin is a mammal who lives in the sea. So he's an air breather. He needs to rise to the surface, get a breath of spirit, breath of air, and that taking that air within him is what allows him to be able to dive into the ocean and navigate through the waters. Because like us, he's a spiritual being having a physical experience. And I just found this out recently, that in some languages, air and spirit are synonymous. It's like the same words, or at least the same root words. And so when you think about, you're at spirit up here, water down here, it's like, air, which is spirit, and then you've got the watery world, which is this world with all the tumultuousness and currents and flows. And we live in the world, but we need a breath of spirit in order to go through the world. Otherwise, you drown. And so when Dolphin comes up, usually my first question to people is whether they have a meditation practice, or at least some practice to regularly connect to spirit at least, I usually say at least once, but twice a day is better, or more if you can do it. Because spirit is who we are. And so we have to come in contact, we have to get in touch with that spirit who we are in order to make sense of the physical world, in order to better navigate the world. Again, using our intuition, because our actor self, our spirit, can see the story from up here, so they know what's going to happen, they know what the best course is, and so it's like having eyes in the sky, right? Okay, go left here. All right, it's a GPS system. And so when we connect with that spirit, it's also the realization that life is a process. Life is a rhythm. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. It's a rhythm. And so finding that rhythm, whatever works for you, once or twice a day, to meditate, to tune in to spirit, to tune in to your true self, which again is creator. And when you do that, everything you do becomes inspired, inspirited. I was going to say something else. Okay, I'll come back to it if it comes back. The other thing about Dolphin, I know you've heard me quote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy before, and one of the main, one of the books in the so-called trilogy is actually called So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, which was the dolphins' last message to humankind when they left the planet, when they realized it was going to be demolished. But anyway, the dolphins, so the way it goes in the book is that humans always thought that they were superior to dolphins because they created cities and skyscrapers and digital watches and wars, and all Dolphin ever did was muck about having a good time in the water. At the same time, Dolphin realized that they were superior to humans because of the very same reasons. So if this is your card, it's permission to mucking about and having a good time. You're the writer of your story. You don't answer to anyone. Muck about and have a good time. Play. Dolphins are nothing if not playful. I mean, they've got the permanent smile. They laugh all the time. They're constantly playing games, playing tag, jumping out of the water, seeing how high they can jump, how many spins they can do, different things like that. They go toward joy. They follow what feels best to them. So in other words, shed the thin veneer of civilization and reclaim that wild, primitive, innocent self that is beyond the world, that cannot be contained by the world. You know, there's I was just thinking about this today. I'm in the process of recreating one of my courses I do, using shamanism to explore your own personal mythology. And one of the things that I was remembering and writing into this class was what's known as the Celtic boast. And it's a tradition. A lot of the old, do I have any at hand? I don't have any. a lot of Celtic poems, like ancient Celtic poems by the bards and like Taliesin. It's like, I am the 12-tined stag. I am the sun on the dappled leaves. I am, and it's like, you are everything you see. You are unlimited because you are the one who is creating your reality. And so play and have fun with it. See, take it to its limits. Like I said, get rid of the fourth wall. If you don't know what that means, the thing I always remember, the thing that I always, like, it took me the longest time when I was growing up, one of my favorite shows was Happy Days with, you know, the Fonz, and everything like that. And they would go to Arnold's, their drive-in and their food place, restaurant, local restaurant where they would hang out. And they would always sit at this table. And it was just, it never occurred to me that we're looking at it this way, like the table is sitting in front of us, but there's a wall here. It's like we are the wall looking down on this table, listening to the conversation. That's the fourth wall. And so in most productions, the characters play as if that is a wall. They don't pay any attention to it. They don't look through it. But some other ones, like even some of my comics, I'm a cartoonist, if you didn't know, and some of my comic characters actually talk to me. It's like they realize that they're comic characters in a comic, and so they will talk to me. They'll gripe at me. They'll you know, cheer me up or whatever. There's no fourth wall. So remember that you are a comic character in a comic, that you're being written by a higher part of yourself. And think about how that, so there's always a happy ending. If there isn't a happy ending, you put down the story too soon. But it is, the world is an illusion. And all three of these cards tonight kind of hint at that, to look through the fourth wall. There's people out there. So, anything else? You know, and we came here for a reason. We came into physical reality not to transcend it, but to integrate spirit and physicality. You know, a lot of spiritual paths and a lot of spiritual people will go off as far as they can away from physical reality. Try to get as high and far away and galactic and cosmic and all that stuff, and never touch foot on the ground. And a lot of those same people came from backgrounds of like Christianity and more fundamental religions, where the whole point is to get away from physical reality, that your reward is in the afterlife. Your reward is someplace else. And so this world doesn't matter. So let's just focus on, let's make it hard for ourselves and suffer and sacrifice, so that once we're away from this world, then we'll be happy. But what if this world is paradise? What if this world is the reflection of everything that's inside of us, individually and collectively? To me, that brings so much hope, because a new world is literally just a single thought away. thoughts become things. We are writing this dream as we go, but we get so caught in the dream and think it's a reality that we forget that we can change things. We forget that we have a say in how things change. And like I said, when you change yourself, everything around you changes. Every person around you changes. The energy changes. I can't tell you how many times all it took was a simple willingness, not even the change itself, but the willingness to change my mind, the willingness to be open to another possibility. And all of a sudden, boom, in hindsight, it was like, all of a sudden, I'm in a whole new world. I'm in a world where what I imagined is real. And then you can go, well, it was always that way. You just didn't realize it. But was it though? You change the world as you go by your thoughts, by your expectations. Let's change the world. Believe in yourself. Believe in your dreams. They're there for a reason. All those things you desire, especially who you desire to become. That is your compass. That is what you came here to do. That's who you came here to be. And like Sandra Ingerman says, it's not what you do, but who you become that changes the world. So become spirit in physical body. Think about Buddha. Think about Jesus and how they didn't transcend. It's not like a base metal turned to gold, as if this world is a base metal and we have to. It's already all one. The world, the universe is made of frequency, nothing else. And those frequencies change by what we think, by what we say, by how we act, by what we bring to this world. We have the power to change it. And by changing your own individual world, you change everyone's world that's connected to your world. And by changing all of their worlds, they change all of the worlds that they're connected to. And so on, and so on, and so on. That is how we change the world. That is how we create the world of love and honor and respect of every person, no matter what race, accepted gender, identity, I said that wrong, whatever gender identity, whatever race, whatever religion, whatever. We are all equal. We are all part of the same dream. There is no one that is less than, and there is no one that is more than. We are all completely connected. We are all completely unique. We are all completely equal. You deserve to be here. You're here for a reason. In that same Rubik's Cube analogy, if you weren't here, the world wouldn't exist. There would be an integral part missing, and the world would not exist. The world exists because you are in it. It's not like the world is a Barbie dream house, and we're all dolls or action figures put into the dream house to act and to utilize whatever's in the dream house. We are the world. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make brighter day. So let's start giving. It's true. We are the world. We are earth, air, fire, and water. We are nature. There is no separation. We keep trying to save the world as if it was outside of ourselves, right? We are the world. Take care of yourself, see to your own well-being, become the strongest, most true and authentic person you can, and watch the world change around you. Save yourself and the world is automatically saved. So, Wow, I wasn't expecting to go off on those different tangents, but because of that, we don't have time to do the guided journey. So we do have time for a bonus card. So, the bonus card. This applies to everyone. And it fits what I was just saying. Ant. Ant is about patience. Ant is about process. The ant has this tiny piece of leaf. That's all this ant is responsible, is carrying that little piece of leaf. And there are millions and millions of other ants carrying a tiny piece of leaf. And by each one of them carrying their own piece of the puzzle, the entire anthill gets fed. Rome was not built in a day. This is about starting from where you are. The whole, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Take that single step toward the new world that you want to see. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the light you want to see in the world. It's up to us individually and then collectively, as more and more of us light up the world with our own little leap, with our own strength. We're not meant to carry anyone. Like one of my new favorite phrases is that no able-bodied adult should be carried to the top of the mountain. Just because you are stronger than most doesn't mean you're supposed to carry others. Your only responsibility is your own piece of leaf. Your path, what you came here to do, is your piece of the puzzle. Let everyone else take care of their own pieces of the puzzle. Life is a mosaic. We each contribute our own parts, and it becomes that tapestry of different colors, of different textures. I don't want a homogenized world, where everything is the same, no texture, no taste, no anything. I love the diversity of the world. I love the way that different cultures play with each other, different languages play with each other, different art methods play with each other, music, everything. We're meant to be diversity. One of the underlying principles of Starfleet on Star Trek is IDIC, infinite diversity in infinite combinations. I can't think of a better description of the universe. I can't think of a better description of the divine. We are all here as parts of Creator to find out what it would be like to be us. Make known the unknown. That is our job. And so as we explore and experiment and adventure, we add that to the knowingness, to the beingness of Creator. IDIC. Every possible reality, every possible truth exists in the great three-dimensional mosaic of the universe. And we all are one. It is all one. We are all one energy. We're all one love. I can't remember who it was that, I think it was a Eastern philosophy, Buddhism or Taoism or something, talking about there's only one. There's one heart. The soul, the sum of the hearts, the sum of the minds in the universe is one. We're all part of the same heart, the same love, the same mind. So that's where I will leave you tonight. Thank you again so much for joining me. I think I started a little bit slow tonight, but I kind of got worked up. So thank you for egging me on. Thank you for supporting me energetically. I feel so grateful that you joined me for these. I just, beyond words, I can't thank you enough for supporting me by watching these videos, supporting me by sharing these videos. You know, if there's anyone that you think might get something from it, please tag them in the comments. And please visit my website, perchingwolfstudios.net, and see what, besides the readings, if you would like a reading of your own, I would be so happy to give you a reading to help bring through the messages of your own animal spirit guides, to let you know exactly what's going on in your life, what choices there are, etc., etc. And look at the other shamanic services that I offer: healings, classes, different things, soul retrieval, fairy doctoring, different shamanic healings. And I mentioned my comics. I also have comics for sale, graphic novels that I've self-published that you can get through my website as well. So check it out. Thank you. Spread the word. Thank you for joining me tonight. Please join me next week. Bring your friends, invite others. And know that I gratefully accept donations. This is my full-time job now. And kind of like everything else, things go up and down. And so I'm just so grateful for those who do send me donations. And my PayPal information is listed below, along with the other information, my website, my blogs, etc. So thank you again for spending another Monday night with me. Please come back and see me next Monday. We'll do it again. And until then, know that I love you, that I see you, that I honor you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And go shining, everyone. All right. Bye.